Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? My name is Kent and the channel is EOS San Diego. And I want to talk a little bit about the Challenge 5 application that we have developed and released. And it's in Android and it's in Apple. And we're on version 5, like I just said, and it's working very, very well. In fact, I would say we have one of the most functional applications or dApps right now running on the blockchain. If you know of any others that are performing as well as the challenge application is performing, please list them below, outside of the DEXs and maybe a game. But as far as a pure application that was developed exclusively for the blockchain, I feel that we have one of the best applications or decentralized applications, dApps, that is operational right now. And if you want to try it for yourself and give me your feedback, I'd appreciate it. Just go to the App Store or go to the Google Play Store. It's Challenge, the word Challenge, EOS. You'll be able to find it. You can download it and make an account name and a password, and you're in. And the other thing I'm doing right now is we have what we call a task challenge. So if you complete a task, you earn tokens. So if you subscribe to this channel, San Diego, can't even remember my own channel, EOS San Diego. If you subscribe to this channel and you post it on the task challenge, I will give you 1,000 challenge tokens. So if you want to subscribe, you're going to get 1,000 challenge tokens for just downloading the app and just subscribing to the channel. That's all you need to do. You don't even need to take a picture, because I can see who subscribes and doesn't subscribe. So if you do that, if you complete the the task challenge, I will give you 1,000 challenge tokens for just subscribing to this channel. So anyway, it's working really well. Please give me your feedback. It's very easy to download, and we give you a few tokens. You can spin a wheel daily and win up to 1 million tokens. So there's a lot of opportunity to own crypto. If you've never owned crypto before, if you've never had any involvement with it before, it's always seemed a little bit, where I didn't really understand it or don't know how to do it. This is an easy way to get involved without any cost and without any exposure or any way of being hacked or anything like that, because everything we're giving to you is for free. So you're not spending any money, or you're not investing any money in this at all. All you're doing is you're just using the application. We have a geolocation application, and we also have a task application challenge. Either one of them work well. Like I said, right now, if you go through the challenges, you'll see my picture, and then you'll see the task challenge that I've created. And of course, in that one, I've got my beard too, so I look the same as I do now. So check it out, and if you do that, I'll give you 1,000 tokens. If a lot of people just ask people to subscribe, I'm actually going to pay you to subscribe. So, and who knows where these 1,000 tokens, what the final price is going to be someday in the future, as crypto starts to get to be a bigger and bigger part of our lives, as it will, as I'll explain here in a second, as far as the rest of my video is concerned. So right now, stock market is topping out, reaching all-time highs. I see a lot of people saying that they think it's going to just continue to go up without any hiccups. I'm standing on the streets. It's usually pretty busy this time of night, and even though we're still open, or we're open here more or less here in California, we still haven't gotten back to normal, or where we were before with this COVID crisis. So how a stock market continues to do better and goes up higher, and all the companies really don't show any negative reflection of the stock price as far as this is concerned, is not a true market. It's an artificial market. As we know, stimulus and printing money and the Federal Reserve buying stocks and corporate debt is keeping this market going. And I've been reading a lot, listening to a lot of people, other YouTubers, and some people believe this could go indefinitely, that the Federal Reserve will just continue to print money and continue to prop up the markets, which makes really what it's doing. It's creating a bigger wealth divide between the wealthy people and the people that don't have assets, because they're buying up assets, they're keeping the price of the assets up higher. And of course, as long as they do that, then it makes things less affordable for people that don't have money. For instance, here in California, houses are very expensive. If you're a young person that's a wage earner or working at a job, the chances of you buying a house here in California are pretty slim, unless you get somebody to back you up, help you out, or you get some very unique financing. It's going to be a long time because of the price of the houses. So anyway, as these assets continue to go up, it creates a bigger divide between people that have assets and people that don't have assets. But I think that the bigger play here, the bigger picture, the bigger macro picture going on here is, as the market starts to go up, you have to think it's going up, but relative to what? Relative to what? Relative to what it was the previous week or the previous years or historically, or relative to what's going on with the money printing situation. And we're kind of flying blind as far as what everything is worth right now, because we really don't know how much money is being printed and how much money is being used to keep these markets at the place they're at right now. And keep in mind, if you're thinking the stock market's going to continue to go higher, think about the greatest investor of all time, the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, is on a sideline. Here's the guy that invented Benjamin Graham, and the person that invented buying stocks at a discount, or buying stocks when they're at the best possible time to buy them. The guy that's the pro at that, the Michael Jordan of buying stocks, the value investor, Benjamin Graham Value Investment, the guy that's a student of that is on the sideline. So if he doesn't see any deals in the market today, he understands that there's an artificial market and that it's just being propped up artificially, which is exactly what's happening. So if Buffett's on the sideline, and I think a lot of other people are on the sidelines, I think right now the stock market's kind of a fool's game. The only thing they're doing is they're propping this market up to keep people from being worried about what the future holds, and to keep people invested in not taking money out of banks, or to keep people continuing to think there's nothing going on. So they're buying up the assets and they're keeping things going well, so people don't really notice exactly what's going on, which is the world's changing very, very rapidly, and a lot of businesses are not making money or losing money probably, and that's probably a majority of them right now that are losing money or not making money at all, even though their stock price continues to appreciate. So you need to be careful to the price is going up relative to what? Is it going up relative to the amount of money that's being printed? Probably not, because we really don't know what those amounts are. So take that into consideration. Also take the gold price into consideration. Gold is hitting all-time highs. But, I think the whole all-time high, 1950, something like that, and I don't know where it's at right now. But even if it goes up to $1,950 or somewhere close to that, even over $2,000, that's a price that's a historical price. It's not a price that you can decide if it's going up or down in today's world, because of the fact that there's so many more dollars out there that make the dollars worth less that you're buying the gold with. So think about that. Think about how relative the prices are, and we really don't know where we're at because we're flying blind. We just nobody really knows. It's a completely flying blind. We have no idea where the actual value is in today's world. And of course, I believe it's in cryptocurrencies, simply because, as with Bitcoin, we know exactly what you've got. You know exactly how many Bitcoin are mined, how many are yet to be mined, and there's a hard cap on it. Not to mention the fact that it's actually, with the halvening and the other things in the protocol, it actually makes it more difficult, which means it's a very good a protector of inflation, against inflation. But you also know that there's no way for them to mess around with the supply, the quantities, the float. I mean, it's pretty much easy to figure out. So to me, the only way that you can really know where we're at is to watch Bitcoin, relative to the dollar. That's where you know where the dollar's at. And right now, I think that Bitcoin isn't where it should be in comparison to the dollar. I think it's going to go up a lot more. But right now, you have these temporary times where the actual market doesn't reflect what's going on. I think we're in that time right now. The actual market is not reflecting the reality of the real world going on around us. And we all know that. We see the businesses closed. We see the company. We see the corporate earnings. We see the struggling of the companies, but yet we don't see a drop in the stock market. But we see the Fed continue to support it. And when the Fed quits supporting, who else is going to support it? I mean, if there's no Warren Buffett's or these hedge fund managers out there to buy stocks up, and they're not going to be buying them at these prices. They know they're overinflated. who's going to be left holding the bag? Probably the people that own the pensions, the 401k people, the people that have invested their money over the years in a certain stock that haven't seen it come down yet and believe it's going to go on forever. They're the ones that are going to get caught in this. Not the Warren Buffetts. He's out. Not the big money people. They're going to be out. The small time person that has the pension is going to be the one holding the bag on this market when this market does reflect what's going on in the real world. So you need to be very, very careful about that. We are in an artificial market, and you do not want to be caught in this artificial market. And to me, the only lifeline you have, the only way you can really see what's going on in the world is to follow something like Bitcoin. I wouldn't even follow gold because I don't even like, as people that watch this channel have watched me before know, I'm not a big fan of gold because I don't know how much gold there is in the world yet to be mined. I don't know who owns the gold, where the gold's at. And you can't depend on governments to tell you the truth about how much gold they're holding. So yeah, all that can be manipulated and can be turned into whatever they want it to say too. So to me, the only real gauge of what's going on is the digital market, the digital currencies. Of course, Bitcoin being the gold, the true gold, not the physical gold, but the true gold in the world today is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the thing that we all should be looking to, as far as where these markets are at and what the dollar's doing and so on and so forth. So we are flying a little bit blind. The other thing I want to cover about tonight is I want to talk about Coinbase, because Coinbase sounds like they are going to go public with initial public offering. So they will be a listed stock, and it sounds like on the New York Stock Exchange. So if Coinbase goes public on the New York Stock Exchange, this will be a huge benefit to cryptocurrencies, especially EOS, because Coinbase lists EOS as one of the coins that you can buy through Coinbase, as well as the other ones, Ethereum, and I think there's a bunch of others. I don't remember them all, but this is going to be a big benefit. And the reason it's going to be such a big benefit, I hear guys like Mike Novogratz talk about the barrier, the entry to crypto, the barrier of crypto. To me, the barrier is not that great because it's not that hard to open up a Coinbase account. But people still don't trust Coinbase, as they well should. I mean, you got Mt. Gox, you got all this other stuff that's happened in the past. So any kind of anything like Coinbase or any of these exchanges, people are a little bit weary or skeptical of. But now if Coinbase goes on the New York Stock Exchange, they will be very well scrutinized and vetted. And I think that's going to be a huge benefit to people that want to buy the cryptos, because once they're on the New York Stock Exchange, they are heavily scrutinized by, of course, the Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as the media and everybody else. So I think that's going to be a big benefit when they do. I think you're going to see a big price increase in the cryptos as soon as Coinbase goes on the NYSE, and everything that's listed with Coinbase. When it goes on the NYSE, you're going to see some big stuff happen. And you're going to see people, and I'm not so sure right now that the price is down, because I think bigger players are accumulating right now. And that's why I think right now it's a very good price, very good time to get involved. But I think Coinbase going public on the NYSE, and I also think the fact that getting that name out there and known will make people feel more comfortable with it, feel that it's an exchange that can be trusted, and of course, a place where you can hold crypto and be safe. So the custody issue is no longer something people worry about. So they'll hold the keys. You're protected. They're very well. Coinbase will be very well watched by, of course, the financial media, and as well as all the regulators that have to do with the stock market. You don't want to lose faith in the stock market, even though it is overpriced right now, because that is the medium of exchange. That's the way companies are able to raise money. So yeah, it will mean a lot of credibility if Coinbase goes public and Coinbase is on the NYSE. So watch for that to happen. It's going to be, I think, a very positive thing for crypto. The other thing I want to talk about is I want to talk a little bit about the dollar as world reserve currency, because that is the one thing that allows the Fed to print so many dollars. And why this could go on, the printing presses could go on for quite some time. Because if you're an American, as I am, and you were born in the United States of America, thank your parents. because we were given something that nobody else in the world was given, which is the fact that the dollar is being held by so many different countries. If you want to do world trade, obviously exchange rates and stuff like that are very difficult. So countries hold dollars and they peg their currencies to the dollar so they can easily trade with other countries. And if you're living in the United States of America, you've benefited from that. You've benefited by us, but we've had a higher standard of living than most other countries, simply because the US dollar has become world reserve currency. That's the currency that the world uses to trade. If they do trading with other countries around the world, it makes it very, very easy to do. So we have benefited from that. And that is constantly being challenged in today's world. In today's world, there's getting to be a lot of competition for other ways to trade. And I think that's another reason why perhaps you have somebody like Donald Trump, who's not a Bitcoin fan, maybe because I don't know if he does or not. I would happen to say that he wouldn't understand it very well, considering, my listening to what he has to say about it. But if you did have a digital currency that could kind of act as a medium of exchange around the world, people wouldn't hold dollars the way they're holding them now, which wouldn't allow the Fed to continue to print these dollars forever. Infinity printing, because the rest of the world is holding these dollars. The other reason the world holds the dollars is because the United States of America has a very strong military presence around the world, and that gives the dollar a lot of credibility. They have a strong presence militarily, and also because the economy, the U.S. economy, is strong. It's innovative, and there's a lot of ideas and technology that comes out of the United States of America, and that keeps the dollar so that the Feds can do what they are doing right now. But it's not going to be an either or situation. It's not going to be either the dollar is world reserve currency and we only use dollars, or we do the cryptocurrency and the world exchanges in cryptocurrency. It's going to be a combination of the two. And I believe over time it's going to be the cryptos, but there's going to be a transition or period where it's going to go from the dollar to the cryptos. And of course, I think the countries that adopt cryptocurrencies will be the winners. The countries that reject the cryptocurrencies will be the losers. And I'm saying this is going to be a long transition, maybe, however many years it may take for that to happen. Or it could happen very quickly if you have a lot of currencies around the world starting to fail. Because if a currency starts to fail, and they don't hold the reserve dollars in order to keep their currency or to trade with the rest of the world, they may start adopting cryptocurrencies. So if there's a country, and I think one of them was Lebanon, that I think their currency is starting to fail. So they don't have any money to trade with other countries, so they may just start trading with cryptocurrencies. So whatever country it is in the world that the currency starts to fail, and of course, if they don't have an alternative currency that they can purchase, or whatever they can use to purchase dollars, and they're not holding dollars to trade for oil or whatever other goods they may need, other commodities they may need, they may turn to cryptocurrencies, and I think that's what you're going to start to see happening. And I don't know if it's Lebanon or not. I remember reading about that. If it isn't Lebanon, there's always a currency around the world that's getting ready to fail, and of course, if they don't have something to back it up, then they can't trade. And if you can't trade, then your country basically starves to death. So yeah, you're going to see maybe some switchovers for some of these countries that are struggling as far as their currency is concerned, and they don't have a war chest, a huge amount of dollars to trade with other countries. They may be flipping over to cryptocurrencies quicker than we think. But as I say, let me just bring it home with an analogy. If you're an airplane pilot and you're flying in the clouds and you can't see the ground, you're basically using instruments. The instruments are telling you what your altitude is. It's telling you your airspeed, telling you all the things you need to know in order to keep the airplane afloat. If all of a sudden you lose your instruments, you have no idea where you're flying. You don't know if you're going up or going down. You could fly your airplane right into the ground because you don't know where you're going. That's kind of what's going on right now with investments in this country. We don't know where we're at. We're flying blind. We have no instruments. We're like playing in the clouds without it's lost its instruments. We have no idea where we're going. We need instruments to help us know where we're going. And that one instrument right now that can show us where we're going is a fixed instrument that has a known quantity and has transparency. And that one is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the known quantity in the world of money that we know today. That is something that we can use as an instrument to see what everything else is doing. So Bitcoin is our only way of knowing that. And I'm starting to see more and more people kind of like, yeah, you need to own Bitcoin and gold. Even I think Mike Novogratz was saying that, Bitcoin and gold. If people are saying that, they're still not getting it. They're still not quite understanding how Bitcoin works or how cryptocurrencies work. And I also hear a lot of people, very knowledgeable people, saying that the only cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. Everything else is useless. They don't understand how it works either. The two need to be together. The smart contract blockchains and the money blockchains work well together. We could not build the challenge application on Bitcoin. They've tried it. If you go back and you look at the early chats, the cypherpunks and some of the people clear back, I think 2012, 2000, that was the big thing, is building something on Bitcoin, building using smart contracts on Bitcoin. It isn't. I don't care what other thing they're doing to try to make that happen. It hasn't happened since Bitcoin's 2009 introduction, and I don't think it's going to happen now. So you need the Ethereums of the world, you need the EOSs of the world, you need these other coins to run the smart contracts, like we're running the applications on the DApp. You're just completely ignoring all that part of it if you're just saying it's only Bitcoin. And if you say gold and Bitcoin are the equivalent, then you're completely not even associating the fact that Bitcoin is a digital currency that's transparent, that's traded easily around the world. Gold is very difficult to move, very difficult to store, very difficult to trust. In fact, here recently I was looking at some gold jewelry, and you don't know what you're buying. You really, really don't know what you're buying. That's why you have to go someplace that's very reputable. I mean, gold, it's like it's very difficult. It's a very difficult thing. If you're going to buy gold stock or mining stocks or something like that, you think the cryptocurrencies are volatile. Those are really volatile, and you have no idea what's going on with those companies. I used to know people that invested. I was a stockbroker in Denver, Colorado, during the penny broker days, and that was those were some of the biggest high flyers we had, were the gold mining stocks, because it was right after the inflationary years, the 1970s, and of course then Ronald Reagan came in and he brought the inflation down, and so a lot of people were investing in these gold stocks. And you talk about innuendo and rumor about people saying, "Oh, we've gotten all this gold," and they never ever seemed to ever work out. It was the biggest gold strike or the biggest gold find that ever showed up in such and such place, and all of a sudden the stock would go crazy on the hype, and then when it really materialized and everything happened, everybody that bought in early dumped, and the only people that stayed with it were the people that didn't know what was really going on in the background. What was really going on in the background, it was that there was just a lot of talk and not very much that was real. And so that's what's going on. So really, that's a very difficult place to buy mining stocks or even physical gold, or however you want to purchase it. I think that's a very difficult market to be in. I would never recommend anybody buy gold or silver or platinum or any of the other metals you can imagine. The real money, the solid money, the digital money, I think the money that was created for the future, almost like I thought I was listening to, I think Max Kaiser was talking about how it's almost divine is the Bitcoin. It's like it was created at a time where it was most needed during the financial crisis in 2008, and somehow it just fit every possible need that we had at the time, and fulfilled all that we needed to have fulfilled, and continue to do it for the last 10 years, almost 10 years now. So, or actually the last 12 years. So anyway, this is the future. Bitcoin is our instrument guiding. We can watch that to see what's really going on. And if you're in the stock market, be very careful. I think it's overvalued. And I think when the Feds quit pumping so much money into it, or as they start to draw out of it, the people are going to get stuck as a small-time investor, or the people with the pensions and the 401ks. They're going to be the people that get stuck, just like the people I remember back in the days of the gold mining stocks, in the penny stock days in Denver, Colorado. Much like the movie The Wolves of Wall Street, except that was done in New York. But that was a very accurate movie. There was a lot of things going on in that movie as far as the drugs and the sex and all that other stuff. That wasn't, I mean, if the stuff was going on, it wasn't nearly as obvious as they made it in the movie. But there was a lot of parts of that movie that were very familiar to me. I do remember those days very well. And I'm glad we had cryptocurrencies today. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.